Hello then, welcome to Verdict 2017, where we get you the updates from the states where the elections, of course, are on. 5 states, but then today, of course, big focus on UP and Uttarakhand. Second phase, of course, of UP tomorrow, as well as Uttarakhand tomorrow. Let's get you through the headlines. The stage is set for polls in 2 states tomorrow. Uttarakhand to witness polling for 69-seat assembly, and the second phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh for 67 seats. Multiple rallies in Uttar Pradesh. Home Minister Rajnath Singh, UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav and BSP Supremo Mayawati address voters across the state. And Aam Aadmi Party leaders meet the Chief Election Commissioner seeking an inquiry over the alleged breach of security of EVMs in Punjab. Campaigning for 67 constituencies of Uttar Pradesh for the second phase of elections ended yesterday, and the stage is now all set for polls on Wednesday. The high-voltage campaigning saw the top brass of the main parties in fray, addressing a number of rallies, road shows and public meetings. Uttar Pradesh, we remember, is witnessing a tough contest between Samajwadi Party and the Congress Alliance, the BSP, BJP and the RLD. 67 constituencies in the state are spread across 11 districts: Saharanpur, Bijnor, Muradabad, Sambhal, Bareilly, Amroha, Pilibhit and Badaयूं. In the 2012 assembly elections, out of the 67 seats, a ruling Samajwadi Party had won 34 seats, followed by the BSP with 18, BJP got 10 and Congress 3, while others got 2. And as expected, unprecedented security arrangements have been made for the second phase of elections to be held on Wednesday in UP tomorrow. The polling would be held from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., where a total of 2.28 crore voters, including over 1.23 crore males and 1.04 crore women, are likely to cast their votes amid high security cover by central forces. Over 2 lakh security personnel have been deployed in the second phase of the polls, including over 800 companies of central forces who were holding flag marches in sensitive areas to instill confidence among voters.
चुनाव की सारी तैयारियां हमारी पूरी हो गई हैं। बाहर से हमको केंद्रीय अर्धसैनिक बल 63 कंपनी मिली हुई है विधानसभा चुनाव कराने के लिए। इसके अलावा करीब 7,500 हमारे अन्य पुलिस बल अन्य जनपदों से प्राप्त हुए हैं। प्रत्येक विधानसभा में हम लोगों ने जो सेक्टर मोबाइल और जोनल मोबाइल बनी हुई है, उसके अलावा कुछ एक्स्ट्रा मोबाइल बनाया है जो हर 10 मिनट पर किसी न किसी सेंटर पर मौजूद होंगे और वो लगातार भ्रमण करते रहेंगे, और अगर किसी तरह की कोई दिक्कत है उसको हम लोग उस मोबाइल के माध्यम से देखेंगे।
And polling in Uttarakhand would also be held along with the second phase of polling in UP on Wednesday. The fight in Uttarakhand, of course, could be crucial this time, as there are about a dozen rebel candidates in the fray as independents. This could upset the calculations of the Congress and the BJP, which have been traditionally the 2 main contenders for power in the hill state. 12 former Congress MLAs are also contesting this time as BJP candidates. Over 75 lakh voters will decide the fate of 628 candidates in 69 assembly seats. Nearly 20,000 security personnel have been deployed to ensure peaceful polling across the state. Meanwhile, election for the Karnaprayag seat has been postponed following the death of a BSP candidate. It will now be held on the 9th of March. And our correspondent Navikram Singh took stock of the overall poll preparations and security arrangements in Udham Singh Nagar district of Uttarakhand.
Uttarakhand will go to polls tomorrow to elect new assembly. High voltage campaigning for 69 seats closed yesterday evening. Now final touch are being done by polling officers. Let's try to talk some polling officers.
इस प्रकार चुनाव आयोग ने बहुत अच्छी तैयारियां की हैं और खासकर कर्मचारियों का विशेष ध्यान रखा है। ड्यूटी लगाते समय भी उनके उम्र का ख्याल रखा गया है।
लोगों को ट्रेनिंग किस तरीके की?
ट्रेनिंग बहुत अच्छी थी। 3-3 बार ट्रेनिंग हमको दी गई है और हर आदमी के लिए ये विशेष छूट रखी गई है। ईवीएम की ट्रेनिंग बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से बताई गई है। प्रैक्टिकल करा के एक आदमी से अलग अलग तरीके से दिखवा करके, और ये कहा गया कि अगर इसमें फिर भी कोई वो रह जाए तो नंबर्स दे दिए गए और उन नंबरों से संपर्क स्थापित किया। कहीं प्रपत्र भरने हैं, उन प्रपत्रों को भी हम बहुत सावधानी पूर्वक से भरे। अगर कहीं पर कोई दिक्कत है तो नंबर्स दिए गए हैं।
यू कैन सी प्रिपरेशन हैव बीन मेड फॉर February 15 election with nearly 20,000 security personnel deployed to conduct a fair polling and peaceful polling. With camera person Santosh Yadav, Navikram Singh, Rajya Sabha TV, Udham Singh Nagar.
And as always, we have an expert in studio, of course, to give us a sense of what we can expect in the elections that are going on. We've got Aditi Fadnis this evening, political editor with the Business Standard, joining us in studio. We also have our reporters, of course, who are giving us up-to-date updates, from all the states, of course, where the elections are on. This evening, of course, we've got Pranav Goswami, who's joining us now from Joshimath in Uttarakhand. Pranav, if I could come to you first, give us a sense of what is it that the voters are going to be looking at as far as when they vote for their concerns tomorrow.
I must say that it's an irony that the real issues, the issues which are related to common men, have been pushed back, and issues which are the two parties who are having direct contact with each other, Congress and BJP, these issues have been
Mainly political issues between the...
during the election campaign. We saw and we heard that the issues of rebels became so prominent. The Congress has been saying that people should not vote for those who have betrayed the party. The Congress Chief Minister Harish Rawat was actually indicating that people should not go with those people
who have betrayed the party.
Left Congress,
All right.
openly against...
All right, Pranav, I'm sorry, but your audio there seems to be a problem with that. But basically what you're saying, of course, is, of course, the issue of migration is something that, of course, the people of the hill state are really going to be focusing on. And speaking about the other issues as well. Aditi, if I could come to you, and let's, since we are on the, the state of Uttarakhand, what is it that this time around the political parties are going to be worried about? Is it those independent candidates, those rebels from the Congress that have joined the BJP, and vice versa?
For some reason in Uttarakhand there has been no stability after the first 5 years of the formation of the state. N.D. Tiwari was the chief minister, and after his tenure the governments have been unstable. There have been changes of chief ministers midway. There have been factional fighting. There has been fratricidal kind of warfare, and it's very unstable, and development has, I think, suffered as a result. So I think the most important thing is to see whether this election is going to bring about some stability, some equilibrium, some equanimity in the state. But that seems to be a very tough thing to figure out, because several congressmen are fighting as BJP and several BJP people are fighting as congressmen.
Yes.
So it can be pretty confusing. This also reveals an unsavory side to parliamentary democracy, which is that if politics is a business,
Yes.
In the absence of other professional preoccupations, then the only source of sustenance and livelihood is from politics. And that is not a happy state of affairs.
Absolutely, and confusing even for the voters. Do you vote the candidate? Do you vote the party? Because surely it must be getting quite confusing for the voters to keep track really of where the candidates, of course, have headed on to. But let's go across to Uttar Pradesh now, Aditi. We do understand the first phase was very crucial. The western UP region, of course, was crucial for all parties. But even more so with this region for the Samajwadi Party, which won more than half of the seats in 2012. But since then, of course, their stronghold really hasn't been that much, isn't it?
So in order to win this election, the Samajwadi Party needs to sweep the election that is going to be held tomorrow. You're quite right, out of 67 seats, in 2012 the Samajwadi Party had 34.
Yes, and if you put the Congress seats, which were 3 then, yes, the number of course rises up a little bit, but
So-
then who knows of that.
So it's very important that the Samajwadi Party at least maintain its performance, or if not improve it, in order to come to par in Lucknow.
Yes.
So since between then and now a lot of things have happened, the Samajwadi Party and Congress have had an alliance.
Yes.
The Samajwadi Party itself has been denuded of big leaders, including Shivpal Singh Yadav, who were important and instrumental in giving tickets. And most importantly, this time in the first two phases, Mulayam Singh Yadav has not campaigned at all, except for his brother,
Yes, we've just seen
Shipal,
2
in
rallies
Jaswant
perhaps
Singh.
from him. Yes,
That's right.
and
In
he has
Jaswant
not
Singh.
mentioned anything about Akhilesh. in
That's
fact.
right.
Yes.
So now this election is as much a way of figuring out whether the breach between the father and son and the 2 brothers, Akhilesh and Pratik, is final and it is conclusive. Also, it is a stamp in favor of Akhilesh if the Samajwadi Party becomes single largest. So the second phase, which will go to the polls tomorrow, is going to be very, very important for Akhilesh.
Absolutely. And in fact, we'll also be talking about, the other 2 parties, which is of course the BJP and the BSP, which have in a sense, especially the BJP, has been able to get, a bit of that second phase, that region, of course, that the Samajwadi Party had a strong hold on. We'll come to that in a bit, but let's also tell our viewers really about the kind of rallies that have been taking place, canvassing, of course, for the 3rd phase of the UP elections. Various political leaders addressing multiple rallies in the state. Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav addressed an election rally in Farokhabad district, while BSP Supremo Mayawati addressed 2 gatherings in Kanpur and Lucknow to garner support for her party. Here's a report.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav on Tuesday slammed Prime Minister Narendra Modi for failing to fulfill the party's promise of Achhe Din. Addressing a rally in Farokhabad, Akhilesh also targeted the centre, saying that Mann Ki Baat itself was not enough and that the centre should work and deliver results. The Samajwadi Party president promised that youth in the state will get government jobs without trouble if the party was voted to power again.
खूब सुनी हमने रेडियो पर मन की बात, टीवी पे मन की बात, लेकिन अभी भी जनता नहीं जान पाई उनकी मन की बात। और हम तो कहते हैं, सुनाते रहे मन की बात, काम की बात कब करोगे? अगर कोई काम किया हो तो बता दो।
While Akhilesh held rallies at Chubramu, Kannauj and Hardoi, BSP Chief Mayawati addressed rallies in Kanpur and Lucknow. Clarifying that her party will not ally with BJP to form the government in UP, she slammed the BJP supporters for allegedly spreading such rumors.
यदि हमारे लोगों की लापरवाही की वजह से, गुमराह होने की वजह से हमारे लोग थोड़ा चूक कर गए और हम किनारे पर आकर रह गए और हमको एब्सोल्यूट मेजॉरिटी नहीं मिली, तो भी बीएसपी विपक्ष में तो बैठना पसंद करेगी, लेकिन बीजेपी की मदद से सरकार बनाना कतई भी पसंद नहीं करेगी.
Mayawati also took on the Samajwadi Party, claiming that the law and order had completely collapsed in Uttar Pradesh. She said the Dadri case and Mathura incidents were the worst examples. Mayawati also asked the people to help the BSP gain an absolute majority in these elections. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh also addressed rallies in Polban, Manipur and Auraiya districts of Uttar Pradesh. Addressing a rally in Auraiya, Rajnath said that the UP is India's largest state and it decides the direction of Indian politics. Highlighting the fact that how under Samajwadi Party's 5-year rule, crime rate increased manifold in Uttar Pradesh and the law and order situation has worsened, Singh assured the people that if the BJP formed the government in the state, all anti-social elements would be taken to task. He promised to waive off the loan of small farmers if voted to power in Uttar Pradesh.
दावे के साथ कह सकता हूं, भारत ही नहीं, दुनिया का कोई व्यक्ति उंगली उठाकर नहीं कह सकता कि चाहे भारत में आदरणीय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी की सरकार रही हो अथवा हमारे मोदी जी की सरकार है, इन दोनों सरकारों के किसी मंत्री के दामन पर कोई भ्रष्टाचार की दाग लगी हो, यह कोई नहीं कह सकता है.
All right, Aditi Fadnis of the Business Standard continues to be with us. Aditi, the rally is of course going on and those are the kind of allegations plus assurances, promises that each party is giving. But taking a look at where the BSP and BJP stand at the moment.
It's very interesting that you say that because this should raise everyone's ears. Because it's very rarely that during an election rally, when an election is not even complete, the leader says that whether we are right in the forefront or we are not able to form a majority, we won't ally with X or Y party. So remember that there are almost 98, almost 100 seats on which BJP has fielded Muslim candidates, minority candidates. And I think this is a signal to tell the Muslims that come what may, I am not going to let you down. There is an election still to be fought. 5 phases are still left.
Yes.
And I am not going to, even if I am reduced to margins, I am not going to ally with the BJP. So that's one message. Now the question is whether she will live up to that, and whether she will, if the BJP sort of throws in enough inducements, whether the numbers will be influenced by government formation.
All right.
So we have to wait and see, but I think it's very, very important that Mayawati has opened her cards so early in the election. But of course, you know, you want to live to fight another day.
That's right.
And she doesn't want to let anybody think that the BJP will get her help in forming a government in UP.
All right. That's interesting, definitely. Aditi Fadnis, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
With those details on what's developing, of course, in Uttar Pradesh at the moment. Meanwhile, a delegation of the Aam Aadmi Party leaders today met the Chief Election Commissioner and sought an inquiry over the alleged breach of security of EVMs at strong rooms in Punjab, where polling was held on the 4th of February. The delegation, led by Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, submitted a memorandum alleging multiple instances of breach in EVM safety in the state, alleging that EVMs were moved out of a strong room in Patiala. He also termed it as absolute violation of EC norms. Aam Aadmi Party leader Raghav Chadha alleged that in some districts EVMs are kept in schools where there was regular movement of teachers. On Monday, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal accused officials in Punjab of trying to move EVMs from a strong room in Punjab. However, officials denied the charge. And here are more election news updates in Porpuri. Just a day before polling in Uttarakhand, a case was registered against Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and Uttarakhand Chief Minister Harish Rawat for violating the Model Code of Conduct in Haridwar. The case was reportedly lodged for holding roadshows beyond campaigning time and use of loudspeakers after the deadline. Congress candidate Behram Swaroop Brahmachari was also booked for violating the Model Code of Conduct. The Election Commission announced that voting in the Alapur constituency of Ambedkar Nagar district of UP will take place on the 9th of March. The elections to the constituency were postponed earlier on Sunday following the death of Samajwadi Party candidate Chandrasekhar Kanojia during an election campaign in the district. Today is the last day of making nominations for the 6th phase of Uttar Pradesh and the first phase of Manipur Assembly poll elections, for which will of course take place on the 4th of March. 49 seats in UP's 7 districts will go to polls in the 6th phase, and 38 assembly seats will elect their leaders in Manipur. Candidates can withdraw their candidature until the 18th of February. And now turning our focus back to Uttarakhand, it is of course blessed with beautiful valley of Jaunsar Bawar, but the plight of its residents is a sorry sight. People here are struggling for their basic necessities. Governments have come and gone, but problems of the people remain unsolved. Here's a special report.
Surrounded by beautiful meadows, Jaunsar Bawar is a tribal area in Uttarakhand. Although blessed with the gift of nature, people here are suffering. There are no basic amenities. People travel more than 100 kilometers across the valley for their daily needs.
सर यहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा समस्या तो शिक्षा और क्या कहें स्वास्थ्य की है। यहाँ पे अगर किसी को बुखार पड़ता है तो हमको विकास नगर जाना पड़ता है। स्वास्थ्य की यहाँ इतनी खराब स्थिति है।
अगर कुछ ज़्यादा दिक्कत आती है तो आधे रास्ते में मरीज दम तोड़ देते हैं। यहाँ पे जाने के लिए अगर बर्फ गिर के कुछ व्यवस्था नहीं यहाँ के लिए। बरसात के टाइम पे हॉस्पिटल वगैरह होना चाहिए यहाँ पर कोई अच्छी। जी यहाँ पे हॉस्पिटल होना चाहिए, स्कूल भी नहीं है, अच्छे स्कूल भी होना चाहिए अच्छे से।
Jaunsar Bawar's cry for help did echo through the park corridor once, after which a plan for new chakrata near the existing chakrata camp was made. A foundation stone for the same was also laid by then UP Governor on December 6, 1997. After the formation of new state of Uttarakhand, the plan went into cold storage. It's been 20 years and the promises remain on paper.
ऐसी समस्या हो, विकास नगर देहरादून जाना पड़ता है और ये सबको सब हमें सुविधा जो है यहाँ मिलती, इसके लिए इस टाउन का जो प्लान बनाया था। लेकिन उत्तराखंड बनने के बाद में ये हालत रही, इस ओर किसी ने ध्यान नहीं दिया।
There are 358 villages in the region. With little or no facilities, people are now migrating.
गांव के लोग हैं, ये मकान नहीं है गांव। अब ये रुकेंगे तब जब ही इनके लिए यहाँ पर आवश्यकताएं पूरी करें।
Like in the past, basic amenities and infrastructure continues to remain big election issues this time as well.
Jaunsar region has been neglected by government for several years now. Local hope for improvement in basic amenities as they brace for assembly polls. With camera person Santosh Yadav, Navvikram Singh, Rajya Sabha TV, Chakrata.
Now, over 60 villages in Uttarakhand come under the reserved forest area, which means locals living in these villages lack even basic survival facilities like electricity and local transport. Our correspondent Dilip Khan sends us this report from one such village in Ramnagar district, where lack of development remains one of the biggest election issues.
Carved out 17 years ago as a hill state from Uttar Pradesh, the state of Uttarakhand is still struggling to provide basic necessities to its remote forest villages. Over 1,800 voters live in the small Patrani village in Ramnagar district, which still lacks road, electricity, even a hospital. One of the promises which still remain unfulfilled is to get the status of revenue village for Patrani.
राजनीतिक पार्टियां यहाँ पे जो है आती है जाती है और आश्वासन बहुत सारे दे जाते हैं, तो लास्ट में इलेक्शन बीत जाने के बाद तो कोई मुड़ता नहीं है। फिर
क्यों हमें लोकसभा विधानसभा में यूज किया जाता है? हमें ग्राम, जिला, क्षेत्र पंचायत से क्यों ना जोड़ा जाता है? एकमात्र लोकसभा और विधानसभा के लिए हमें वोटिंग के लिए यूज किया जाता है और ग्राम पंचायत की वोटों के लिए हमें छोड़ दिया जाता है।
ज्यादातर तो हमें दुख है कि हमारे जंगल में शेर हाथियों का ज्यादा खतरा है और हमारे न कोई रोड है न कोई पब्लिक, जंगल जाना मुश्किल है हमारे लिए। बच्चों का भविष्य, हमारा बच्चा यहाँ से कहीं अच्छे स्कूल में नहीं पढ़ सकता, जंगल में उसे पार करने के लिए हमें एक आदमी उसकी फीस चाहिए।
All three candidates contesting from Ramnagar constituency have promised a dedicated bus service for the village. Meanwhile, this bus, which arrived in Patrani after weeks, only came to gather supporters for the candidates. Like previous elections, this time around too, voters are hoping for basic development for this hamlet.
यही हमारी स्थिति है। वोट के लिए तो हम रात दिन इधर उधर भागते रहते हैं, मगर इस गांव में कोई व्यवस्था है ही नहीं। हमारी मांग ये है कि हमें राजस्व ग्राम हमें चाहिए, जो हमें राजस्व ग्राम का दर्जा देगा, बस हम यही चाहते हैं।
उधर आ रहा, इधर आ रहा, चलो किस में जाओ, वहाँ गाड़ी का रास्ता नहीं है, पैदल आओ। क्या हमारे पैर इतने फालतू हो रहे हैं? नहीं, हमारा जो यहाँ वो करेगा, हम उसी को सब वोट भी देंगे और हम उसी का भला भी करेंगे। बस
इंदिरा से वन विभाग ने जो है हमारे ऊपर ऐसा षड्यंत्र रचा कि हमारे यहाँ पे तोड़फोड़ करने का, आक्रमण करने का, स्कूल, प्राइमरी स्कूल तोड़ दिया, महिलाओं के साथ हिंसा होती है, मारपीट, और हम लोगों को यहाँ से उजाड़ने का कि तुम यहाँ से हटोगे। उसके खिलाफ हमने कोर्ट में भी याचिका की थी, उसमें भी कोई खास उन्होंने भी कोई फैसला नहीं सुनाया, वो कागज वैसे ही डम पड़े हैं हमारे अभी तक।
The forest village status for Patrani deprives it of any developmental activities. The villagers are denied permission to make pakka houses, claim old, dried or felled trees in their courtyard, make fencing around their houses, or claim compensation for crop loss, as these areas are considered to be forest land owned by the forest department.
हम मानते हैं कि हम जंगलों से लगे हुए गांव हैं और जंगलों से जो लगे गांव हैं उनके अंदर बहुत सारी आज समस्याएं हैं। जंगली जानवरों का जो लगातार इंसानों पर और फसलों पर जो नुकसान हो रहा है, उसके साथ ही इस क्षेत्र के अंदर कॉर्बेट नेशनल पार्क के 10 किलोमीटर तक इको सेंसिटिव जोन घोषित करने की जो सरकार की कवायद है, उसमें हमारे हक हकूक लगातार खत्म हो रहे हैं।
इको सेंसिटिव जोन आप विश्व के लिए, देश के लिए क्रिएट कर रहे हैं। वहाँ के लोग सफल ना करें, उन लोगों को कुछ स्पेशल प्रिविलेजेस मिल जाए, लोग खुश हो जाएंगे। उन लोगों के लिए कुछ सब्सिडाइज बिजली का प्रबंधन हो जाए या उनको सब्सिडाइज गैस सिलेंडर्स का हो जाए, जिससे कि उनको लगे कि देखो हमने सेक्रीफाइस किया, उसके बदले में हमको सरकार ने ये दे दिया।
Ramnagar district constitutes of 24 such villages where over 20,000 voters can easily decide the fate of any candidate. the issue of forest villages has once again gathered momentum ahead of elections. With Dilip Khan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's all we have for you on Verdict 2017 for today. Thank you for joining us.